In the, but just to, we'll show another clip in a minute, but just to dive into the politics for a minute, do you think the American capitalist system is out of whack?
Well, I wouldn't say just the American system.
Okay, do you think the global...
Yeah, I think it is. I think it definitely is. I mean, but what do I know? I don't even own any stocks, as I've said. But no, yeah, I think it definitely is. I think the whole idea, you know, the Fukuyama book, End of History,
right.
like basically American capitalism is where the world has been going and evolving to, like Darwin is evolving to this high point. Well, that's a misunderstanding of Darwin, because Darwin never supposed that evolution was taking you to higher point. That actually was a religious concept, that man, you know, we start as animals, but ultimately we will evolve into angels. But evolution isn't taking you to a higher place, it's just taking you to a different, more diversified place. That's all. And so, I don't want to get too, you know, but it's the philosophy of Hegel was...
I knew we'd get to Hegel.
I won't haggle with Hegel, but, you know, his idea, this is a German philosopher, he thought that man was evolving and society itself was evolving almost like a creature to become more and more sophisticated, more refined, and getting to a higher and higher point. And used history as saying that there was a purpose to history, there was an end point of history that we were heading for. And so you have the American sort of philosopher Fukuyama saying, yeah, the end of history is us. We're the high point. And that was before 2008, and suddenly you could see what was wrong with capitalism. You know, the whole idea that, no, it doesn't need to be regulated because it'll just take care of itself, it'll be perfect, it'll be beautiful. You know, human beings don't work that way, you know? It's like communism, as someone said, great theory, wrong species. Meaning human beings cannot do this. You know, it sounds great, but really because of the way people are, so complex, so competitive, so, you know, in some ways so malicious, sometimes dark, sometimes funny, like those clips. They are too tricky, you know, for this perfect way of arranging society to work. So I think, I think the way the gears have gone off in capitalism, honestly, any observer of human nature could see that coming a mile away. But I guess people want to delude themselves to think, you know, what's working so well for them, and they're making a lot of money and feeling very powerful, masters of the universe, all that kind of stuff. They want to believe that that's it. That's, you know, that's the ultimate reality.
Rob, I'm wondering if you've watched sort of the wheels pop off. You've been living in America pretty steady now, or yes? Mm-hmm. Watch the wheels pop off and you think, wow, there's traders, there's bankers who are skating around regulation. What if the media paid as much attention to that as they do to my romantic life?
I was literally saying that this morning. That's really strange. I said the exact same thing. I mean,
were you monitoring us? Do you have like some little drones that hover?
That's going to be about your next movie, my whole technique about using technology to track.
Because Rob was just saying that. Exactly.
No, I mean, it kind of, I mean, there's this weird thing about accountability, like where, you think, stuff like paparazzi or whatever. I don't think that, I'm like a private citizen. I don't make any laws or anything. And yet I have I don't have the, if a bunch of people followed you around, you call the cops, you get them arrested. It's, it's whatever. Like, but it impinges on your reality on a day-to-day basis, and it's kind of, there's this weird relationship with fame in America where it's kind of valued, I think, disproportionately highly, and so it's something to do with, like, this is a kind of American dream aspect to it. I mean, it's an attainable thing for everyone, but with politicians and things, I think they really should. It would actually make people behave a lot better, like with politicians and bankers, if they actually had, if people were interested in reading about them, but no one's interested because it's probably too miserable, to be honest.
Right. But you'd like to send the posse that follows you after them.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't want to be the one responsible for asking them to go, because then I'd probably get thrown out of the country. But I mean, you know, things fall apart when they're supposed to fall apart. Like, it's kind of, I don't think, you know, America's a very hopeful country, and you know, it's funny coming from England, where the whole main cultural attitude is like being the underdog all the time. I don't think, but it's strange to live in and kind of fascinating, amazing to live in a place where, you know, like the idea of freedom, for instance, like is kind of held up at its only country, I think, which values the word so highly. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So literally, like, I was trying to go somewhere with it, and then it's too late. But yeah, what was even the question? What am I talking about? It's terrible. I'm literally listening to you talk about Hegel.
I actually remember what Rob said when he was articulate and knew it. Well, I could repeat that.
But the other thing, the thing about Hegel as well, I just want to say, but just to redeem myself, that I didn't realize there's a Calvin and, you know, Calvin and Hobbes. There's one of my favorite Calvin and Hobbes cartoon strips called Scientific Progress Goes Boink. Has this whole thing about Hegel. I had no idea it was about Hegel. It's like Calvin is having this conversation with his dad, saying that the whole of human, the whole of human history was to create me. But anyway.